What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. You saw the title. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite films of 2024. Now, before we get into it, I just want to put a little editor's note that the reason why Nosferatu, Baby Girl, or Anora aren't on this list is because at the time of me filming this, I have not seen them yet. I'm probably going to be doing a early 2025 review of them, if that's okay with y'all. I also want to throw some honorable mentions up here before we get into my top 10. I thought Late Night with the Devil was fantastic. I thought Immaculate was great. I thought Sydney Sweeney's performance was amazing in that movie. Monkey Man was really good too. It just didn't really stick with me because I'm not a huge fan of action movies, even though that was handedly the best action movie I've seen in the past few years. I thought that Civil War was good. I thought that it gave me a lot to chew on emotionally, but I think I wanted more out of the film, if that makes sense. But those are all my honorable mentions. Let's get into my top 10 of 2024. At number 10, Yorgos Lanthimos is back with Kinds of Kindness. I thought this movie was hilarious, tense at times, really well shot. I thought the anthology style of stories was really interesting and really well thought out. And I thought that Emma Stone, Margaret Qualley, Willem Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, they all were fantastic in this movie. At number 9, we have Love Lies Bleeding. Kristen Stewart is back with one of my favorite performances of her career in this. I love the way this movie is shot. I love the story in this. I also love that throwback vibe that it has to it. And I love how weird it gets towards the end with those little Cronenberg vibes. I love this movie. Super sexy too. At number 8, we have a movie that I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. We have Smile 2. I think this movie is the perfect example of jump scares done right. Nothing irritates me more than when a movie is leading up to a jump scare and then it's like the husband behind her like, "Are you okay, sweetheart? Is everything okay? You seem a little edgy." That drives me insane. And the Smile franchise would never fake me out with some bullshit like that. I thought this movie was fantastic. I still love the first one a little bit more, but that intro scene where it's one take following the guy from the first movie. Speaking of sequels that I didn't think were going to be as good as they were, we have Inside Out 2, and I really was going into this movie with low expectations because Disney has been turning out some schlock lately. But this movie was really good. I thought the added emotions weren't awkward at all. I thought the anxiety was really well portrayed, and I think that this is a great coming-of-age movie, not only for people that are the same age as Riley, but I feel like adults be going through the exact same shit emotionally, mentally. Obviously, everyone deals with anxiety, and I feel like this movie has a lot of great reminders for people of every age about that. At number 6, speaking of movies that have something important to say to every age, we have I Saw the TV Glow, and I really wasn't expecting this movie to show up on my list because I didn't really like it the first time I saw it. Let me rephrase that. The first half of this movie really did not land for me. But as I've come to see it a couple more times and as it sat with me a little bit, I think that every issue that I've had with the film was because it wasn't for me. Genuinely. I think the first half of this movie is specifically engineered for a younger audience to see because it's important that they see it when they're young. And I feel like the last half of this movie, specifically the last half hour of this movie, is meant for people like me who didn't get that message when they were young and now they're kind of feeling stuck. Obviously, there's another very specific demographic that this movie is speaking to that I felt very spoken to in regards to the end of this film. I felt very called out. Felt like there was a mirror being held to my face, and it's been a long time since a movie did that for me. At number 5, we have Challengers, the movie that's responsible for not only getting me into threesomes, but also tennis. I love pretty much everything about this movie, but I think the thing that I want to focus on specifically in this video is the music from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which was remixed on another release by Boys Noise, by the way, if you haven't heard that yet. The music in this movie is fantastic and it adds so much to the story, to the vibe, to the flow of the film. One of the prime examples for music direction being one of the most important things in a film. At number 4, we have a pretty obvious one. We have The Substance, another Margaret Qualley banger. I am obviously a huge fan of body horror, hence me loving the Cronenberg shit at the end of Love Lies Bleeding. So I kind of went into this movie knowing I was finna love it because I actually saw the trailer for the first time in Saw X. In the theaters for Saw X. That feels so long ago. But what can be said about this movie that hasn't been said already a trillion times? I love what this movie has to say about beauty standards, and obviously everything regarding the body horror in this movie is fucking tastic. No notes. Oh my god. Number 3, we have Alien Romulus. I'm actually not going to talk too much about this because I just reviewed it in a whole separate video on the channel. Go back and watch that if you haven't yet. But spoiler alert, I thought this movie was fantastic. I thought it was a love letter to the original. It goes Alien Romulus for me. Sorry. Number 2, we have another divisive one. We have Longlegs. I actually went to see this movie at the exact same time as my best friend. We got out the theater at the exact same time, texted each other, and he was like, I didn't really like it. And I was like, I fucking loved it. This movie was just so satisfying. And I'm not the only person that's used that word to describe this film. Everything about this was done wonderfully. I just thought this movie was executed beautifully. I thought Longlegs was shown the perfect amount. I thought the story was really well done. I actually really loved the ending, and I know that that's the thing that throws most people off, but that's the thing that really kind of had it all together for me. That line where Longlegs is like, "Hail Satan," you either think that's the corniest shit you've ever seen, or that just made the movie so much better, and I am unfortunately a part of the latter. And then at number 1 for my top movie of 2024, this will come as no surprise if you know me personally, we have In a Violent Nature. This movie is everything that I want to see in a horror movie. I thought this movie was fantastically shot, fantastically paced. I actually didn't think it was too slow. I thought it held on the things that we were supposed to see for a very perfect amount of time. One of my favorite kills in a horror movie in recent memory is in this movie. It's brutal as shit. This movie is brutal as shit. And I feel like a lot of people are just genuinely missing out. I feel like a lot of people that lack the patience are missing out on one of the most fantastic horror movies that we've gotten in the past 5 years. This movie had me locked in from beginning to end, locked in at the edge of my seat. I swear to God. I think a perfect example of its divisiveness is the fact that my partner hated it. Did not like it at all. Like at all. I thought this was cinema. I thought this was fucking pure art. I love this movie so much, and I can't wait to see what they do with the universe potentially in the future. I don't really want to see him become a horror villain, if I'm being honest. I really just kind of want to see more in this vein, in this vibe. I really love the way this was directed, which makes me curious for more, but I really don't want to see it become a whole thing like Terrifier, you know what I mean? I think Terrifier is actually a perfect example for this because it was such an amazing, groundbreaking first film that ended up turning into schlock immediately. And the second one, where they started adding magic swords and like an hour of family screen time, like who the fuck asked for this shit? So I really hope that the universe of In a Violent Nature doesn't go in that direction. However, I'm very curious to see where the director chooses to push this narrative moving forward. But that's it. That's my list. Those are my top 10 favorite movies of 2024. Make sure you comment and let me know what your favorite movies were. And if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We got one video left for list week, and then I'm gonna take a fucking break. See you guys in the next one. I love you. Fuck off.
Come and take a camera flash. Jury game amazing. Car game crazy. Gucci Mela flare. Won't you come and see me sight chase?